Hello, who are you and where are you from?
My name is Rod Nagaishi, and I'm Noel's dad. And currently from Honolulu, fourth generation Japanese in Hawaii. So it was my great grandparents who first came here to Hawaii.
And then the food that I chose for this project is furikake salmon. So can you briefly describe what furikake salmon is for those who may not know?
Okay, furikake salmon is really a simple dish. It is basically cooked salmon with furikake sprinkled on top of it. And furikake is a Japanese seasoning that's made up of different types of salts. There might be some nori flakes as well. And people sprinkle it on salmon. They also sprinkle it onto soups, onto their rice. So it's kind of a versatile, all-purpose type of seasoning.
And how is this food significant to you and where you're from?
I would say that furikake salmon is significant to me in that it's something that has followed me since I was a child. So my grandmother would make furikake salmon for our family when I was in elementary school. My mom then made furikake salmon for us, my sister and I, as we grew up. And today I make furikake salmon for my children. So it's a recipe that we've used for 50, 60 years.
Great. And you mentioned how you yourself also make furikake salmon. How do you prepare furikake salmon?
So I use the simplest method, and that is I preheat the oven to 350 degrees, get a cookie sheet, aluminum foil, put a little bit of oil, put the raw salmon right on top of it, get some butter and garlic, sprinkle that over the salmon, and then get the furikake, sprinkle that over the salmon, and then I'll seal up the aluminum foil, put it back into the oven, and 15 minutes later, it's done.
And what are the different ways that furikake salmon is consumed?
The ways that come to mind for me is the method that I just described. So cooking it in the stove and then having it with hot rice, super simple. People also, and I enjoy it also, having it in a musubi, which is a rice ball, and then having salmon flakes and the furikake, sealing the musubi, having it that way. And then the third way that I really enjoy is chazuke. So chazuke is tea and rice, and then you'll put salmon flakes and then furikake over that as well.
And then moving on to the last question. When you think of furikake salmon, what childhood memories does this evoke, if any?
When I think of furikake salmon, I think about when I was probably 8, 9 years old, visiting my babang. Babang is Japanese for grandmother. So visiting my babang on Lanai, where she lived, and she would oftentimes prepare furikake salmon for our family. So whenever we would visit, my babang was a great cook. So she would make all of these dishes, invite the neighbors over, invite friends over to the house, and they would, obviously come over with their own dishes, and we would all sit around the table and enjoy all of these different ethnic dishes that I would say are primarily Japanese in nature, but also, I think there's a lot of foods that were just passed on through the plantation era and the cultures that made up the different plantations. So, there's obviously the Japanese influence, but there was also Filipino influence, Hawaiian influence, and so we're eating all of these different foods. And so those are the memories that come to mind when I think of furikake salmon.
Great, thank you for sharing and taking the time out of your day.